Welcome to the Comix Zone. Welcome to the Comix Zone.
What's going on, nerds? This is the Comix Zone. We got Bill, the whole crew. Avengers have assembled.
Yes.
Sup, yo?
DJ Nyke, Chelsea's in the house, and of course, Bill.
As always.
Today we're doing a little bit of trivia. We'll get into that a little bit later.
Yes.
So this is we're testing out a lot of new things with the trivia, trying to work out the bugs and trying to figure out a good flow for it, and more people, more contestants. So
I think
you're our guinea pigs. This has been fun.
It felt pretty smooth.
Yeah.
It did feel pretty
felt
smooth.
good.
Yeah, I definitely felt stressed.
So
I know, because we're all so competitive, man. It'll be great to see who
That's
the winner
true,
was.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm
bet it's you.
still wondering who it is too. And I realized I made the same dumb dad jokes on each one of you, so it was
that's good.
Yeah.
That's all right,
So
we're here for it.
We'll play that for y'all later, but
so since Chelsea's here, I wanted to talk a little bit about Dragon These Balls, the our anime show. Tell them a little bit about what we're doing on there now, Chelsea.
So we just finished up Dragon Ball Super and the tournament. So now we have moved on to Steins Gate, which is my most favorite anime. It's what actually got me interested in watching more of them and into Dragon Ball and so on. And it's a great show about love and loss and time travel.
And time travel. I'm glad you put that in there.
And time travel.
That'd be a good name for a movie. What'd you say? Love,
Loss, and time travel.
Yeah, that would be dope.
It's one of my most faves. I highly recommend checking it out. So please check out, our episodes on Dragon D's Balls and give it a listen and see if it's a show that you think you'd be,
It's my second favorite. And from someone that actually was stationed in Japan, lived there for a year, that's saying a lot. It's because I'm like old school, crying free.
Saying a lot.
Ah! Well played.
Yeah.
Very well played.
So when this episode comes out, the first episode of our Steins Gate podcasts will have been out for about a week. So go check that one out if you're listening to this one right now. So, Agua. Why don't you run down the rules for our little contest before we get...
So it's a kind of a quick 2-minute round. Everyone tries to answer as many questions as they can. Whoever wins the most points wins. Me as the game master makes up the rules as I go along. Whatever I say goes. I make the rules. So that way...
It's
White
all
man,
house rules.
Master.
Hey, someday you'll get to wear the game master jacket and you'll be in charge.
All right.
You'll just have to come up with the questions.
Very
so
well,
then I
very
can
well.
actually play the trivia games too.
Well, yeah.
So we're gonna have to kind of figure out.
We should
gotta
come up with some Batman questions. We could do it. We could
just
rock
got to
it.
rotate the trivia and and whoever is hosting has to wear the jacket.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's
that's
bomb.
it.
But I'm bringing my Sherlock Holmes pipe too.
You need it, yeah, or a bubble
Right.
pipe.
Right.
So the funny thing is, my font was like too small, and I'm reading different questions for. So I've skipped some with some people and didn't do other ones with you.
That motherfucker.
So, and then I'm like hitting the wrong buttons all the time.
Yeah, I got one right, and he hit the wrong button. I was like, hey.
Same.
he did it. He
He
did
was
it.
like, "Oh, that's right," and I was like, "The fuck."
That's right, man. Psych.
That's right. I just hit whatever buttons I want to do.
Yeah, we know he's not ready to be a DJ yet.
Yeah, no, not yet.
That's why I play the guitar.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it was a very close game to see who won. I think we're probably gonna have to get down to a tiebreaker afterwards. Actually,
Oh, you think so? By just
Yeah.
on the
Really?
just here on the show.
Because you know what? I would bet just by the ones that I missed, it was things that I knew, but I couldn't bring up fast enough.
Same.
And with it being a speed round, I didn't want to spend too much time trying to come up with an answer when I could just move on and get more of the questions.
That's what I was
correct.
trying to do too. And then Bill asked me one that as soon as I gave the wrong answer, the right one came to mind. And I was like, no, it's like I knew that.
Yeah.
and I gave some points when
They were close.
They're
Yep.
close enough. Like one of the ones that stumped most of you were the who kidnapped Tony Stark in the first Iron Man, and it was the 10 rings.
And I said 7 rings, but he let me have it.
But
I wanted to call them like the Mandarins, and I was like, that's wrong.
Mandarin is their leader, though.
I know that, but I knew that
in
was
the comics. It was slightly different in the movie.
And
right.
was
Yeah,
the-
they changed it up,
And the
but
third one, he was
the drunk actor
Ben
dude.
Kingsley.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the All Hail the King short makes it seem like he was more than what he seemed at the same time.
Yeah. And
Like,
then he
so
was
he was-
in
He was a
Shang-Chi.
dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
Which is a Tony Stark reference. You know,
you
Robert
go.
RDJ.
I'm full of them today, dude.
Yeah, you are.
Well, I got
You're
it.
full of something.
Coffee.
Coffee.
Let's have some coffee and sock.
Yeah.
So there's another thing that's coming out. The new season of Sweet Tooth is out now, too.
Oh, shit. See, I didn't
So-
finish the first season. I
Is that
totally
the show
forgot
about
about
the
that.
little kid with the deer horns?
Yeah. So it's a Jeff Lemire story, which he's one of my favorite authors. Robert Downey Jr. and his production company are directing and making this series. So that's how.
Isn't his wife involved in that,
Yeah,
too?
I think it's him and his wife.
Yeah.
Their production company director. I'm not sure what they call it, but they are bringing that to life. The comic is an absolute must read, in my opinion, as far as those kind of stories. They basically took the characters from the comic and made their own world, and it was a good story. Not as brutal and violent as the comic, but still worth watching, worth checking out.
And I love the cast. You know what I mean? I got caught up. There were so many good things out at once. Like all of the new Disney Plus shows were all on at one time. What's the one on Amazon Prime? The Boys.
Boys, yep.
Invincible. There was so much going on at once that I you know what I
Same.
mean?
I ended up missing out on that
So
one.
I do want to go
because-
back and watch it.
That would be a good show. Talk about the missed gems that you can still stream.
Oh, hell
yeah,
yeah.
for
You know,
sure.
like we should do a
most
list
definitely.
show about that. You know, the
Wasn't that-
underachievers.
Wasn't Sweet Tooth, isn't that part of the Sandman shit too? Or
No, that's Neil Gaiman.
is that something else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are the other ones, not Sweet Tooth.
Was
Some
it the
like
Lucifer show that's a part of that?
It's in the comic they're tied together. Yes, Lucifer Morningstar
But-
came from the.
Right.
I believe.
So that
No, I
Lucifer
could be making
show
shit
is
up. No,
I think they're on the same. They're on the same. They're in the same company, but I don't think Neil Gaiman wrote Lucifer. Like I think they're like it's not Image, but one of the books, like whatever.
was
his book-
Vertigo.
yeah, I think they're all in the same universe, but I don't think he wrote Lucifer.
There were tie-ins, and it might be a retrofit that I'm thinking of.
Right?
But also Constantine was kind of in that world too.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know,
And I know that wasn't one of his. Man, I love Constantine. yo.
Constantine wasn't always a DC character, right? Or was he?
I don't know.
Or is he a?
I don't
He's
remember.
definitely DC.
He's DC.
Yeah.
Right.
Vertigo, then now Black Label.
I want to say, yeah, I think maybe he got brought over to DC at one point though.
That's a possibility. I started reading the Hellraiser
Look
books
that up.
after.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, Hellraiser. I have.
The reason they
first
didn't
graphic
call
novel.
the John Constantine movie with Keanu Reeves
yeah, the hell
because they had the Hellboy movies and they didn't want people to get confused.
That makes sense though, because I've honestly gotten them confused. I'm like, isn't Hellraiser the red dude with the the horns? They're like, no.
No. But because of the Hellraiser fucking
Yep.
Well,
horror
yeah,
films.
Pinhead.
Pinhead.
Pinhead,
Those are
yeah.
my favorite horror movies.
I refuse to watch those.
love
I
Those are
absolutely.
older than you, man. I grew up watching those.
Dude, I can't do the torture stuff. Like,
I get it.
nope.
The second and the fourth movie are the best ones in the entire series.
I've just been on the hunt for one of the comics actually for a long time, for years, and they're very hard to find.
I will say, since we're on Hellraiser, I love the John Constantine movie that Keanu Reeves did, but the TV show is a lot more comic book accurate.
That was such a good show, and it pissed me off that it got canceled.
True enough, but the one thing DC did right with that is that even though the show got canceled, the live action guy voices the character in all of the animated films since then. So
And he made some appearances in the future pasts or whatever.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
in the Arrowverse, we'll
Yeah.
call it the Arrowverse. Yeah,
I couldn't get into that show of all the
Legends,
Legends
yeah.
of Tomorrow.
yeah.
Is that or yeah?
Speaking of people that voiced and played a character, remember the John Travolta Punisher movie?
Yes.
The guy that played Punisher has voiced the Punisher in animated stuff and I think in video games.
Thomas
what,
Jane?
though? I like him, and I don't mind.
He is
that
like a-
Punisher
No,
movie,
he did a
to be
good. He
honest.
did a good job because he's one of those people, kind of
He's a
like Michael
he's a
Keaton,
super
that you
fan.
didn't expect him to do
And
that
he
well.
He does. He plays a good Frank Castle.
Yeah, he did.
honestly,
Because he's a super fan of the Punisher. Like he is obsessed with the Punisher.
it was like Henry Cavill with The Witcher. You know what I'm saying? Like when they love the source material and want to stay true to that, I think they always end up doing
A better job. they respect it.
a better job.
Yeah,
And
you're
I know
gonna-
that, like I said, it's not one of like considered the best Punisher movies with him, but I actually
like
really
it.
I like it too.
I
But
like
I do
that
too.
movie.
I'm one of those weirdos that also likes Ben Affleck's Daredevil. So
I liked him in
Punisher
Elektra.
Warzone.
I like it.
I thought he was a better performance with Elektra.
Yeah.
I
That
think
movie,
I liked it for what it was at the time, and for them giving that to, I did at the time.
He's
All right,
got some hate about Batman in the press lately. He
But
said
see,
it was
I think he played a much better Batman because he's supposed to be an older, like that 50-year-old Batman, and I thought he nailed that. My issue with Daredevil wasn't his acting; it was like the fight scenes because they would look like they were
Yeah, it
in
was
fucking
just
slow mo.
It wasn't his fault.
Yeah,
It was the
the acting I thought was on point.
and actually the director's cut of that movie is way better than the theatrical version.
I say that about all the DC movies though
Yeah.
that have been out
Well,
since
and I
after
think
the
for
Dark Knight.
me, because I adore Frank Miller's Daredevil, and that's very much what it's based off of. I think there's that part of me too that just, I have a soft spot for that movie because of that, because of how much I do love his Daredevil. And, I mean, I've read almost everything that he's done with Daredevil. So
Because I would whenever people start talking about comic book films, I say the two worst, at least that weren't like direct to TV. Like I always say Daredevil and fucking Catwoman with Halle Berry.
oh, wait, can we just not even, that doesn't even exist in my mind. Like, it's so bad.
It's like trying to talk about that Dragon Ball Evolution movie. Just
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what? All right, hey, but yo, now that you say that, I totally understand what you say about Daredevil. I understand that Dragon Ball Evolution is total garbage, but
trash.
I watch that movie once a year because there are certain things about it that I
so
love.
bad.
See, okay, now you can understand
I
the
get it. I
Daredevil.
get it.
All right,
You're
thank
right.
you. Yep.
I love, you know what I mean? And I know it's garbage and it's so far away from the source material, but they're like a lot of one-liner parts in there. Plus, all of the chicks that are in that film are hot. So,
Well, that's the chick that plays Chi-Chi in it. That's the girl from Shameless, and then the guy playing Goku in that is her boyfriend in like the
oh, is that him? I didn't know. I
in
didn't
like
see him
the
in
first
anything else.
season
Yep. Mm-hmm.
of Shameless.
Yep.
And then dude that owns Benihana's, he was a wrestler. I can't remember what his name was, but his son is the Japanese DJ. What's his name? But his daughter's in there. She plays one of the other characters. I can't fucking remember. She's also in Tokyo Drift. So
That's a badass movie too.
thank you.
Maybe the best Fast and the Furious movie. Period. I think.
I honestly that doesn't have the original cast. I would say yes.
Yeah, it was better than the second Fast and the Furious, for sure.
I think I watched the first one, like two maybe, and then after that, it's all just vroom, vroom.
Well, yeah, now
His
there's
I
wife
don't
has
care.
most of mine in there, but that's one of those things that when people start talking bad about shit like that, like if you're gonna dog fucking Fast and Furious, then you've got to dog the fact they keep doing Star Wars movies, or that they keep doing DC movies, that
Here's
they
the
keep
thing.
doing Marvel movies. They are made for a certain audience. We know at this point in time they're not fucking. It could never happen in real life, but they're fun to watch. And
You don't want to see a Lambo in space, bro?
See, I don't give a shit about him.
Fiero.
Like
Fiero.
I'm
That's
pretty
even harder to
I'm pretty
believe.
neutral with them because since I'm not interested in cars and racing, I don't care. I don't watch them. I have no opinion on them. But damn, are the memes about family funny as fuck?
Oh yeah, the
though.
family shit.
I'm down with the family memes. I could give a shit less about Fast and Furious. If you like it, good on you. I don't have an opinion. Whatevs.
I wish more people were like you, because every time somebody fucking attacks it, I want to fight. It's like, hey, I like it. Shut up.
Hey, like what you like. That's
I would say the same if that argument also applies to something like the Die Hard franchise.
Facts.
You know,
I
it's
love Die Hard.
but it's almost like the same cut from the same cloth, except it's
Well,
an
it's like
action
in
and less.
it's like in Tropic Thunder, how they they do the trailers at the beginning of the movie. And they're like, people said it wouldn't happen again 3 more times. It's like,
Tug Speedman,
yeah,
who left the
yeah,
fridge
yeah,
open.
fridge open. It's so stupid. He's holding 2 babies. instead of just the one.
That is one of my most favorite movies ever, and I
See,
can
I only watched it once. You know what I mean? I had to
can
watch it
quote
because
the
of every
whole thing.
all the memes and stuff. And I will say, I'm not a fan of most of those stupid type comedy films, but I did watch that one and I did enjoy it. You know what I mean?
The all-star cast makes it for me.
Ever.
No, it didn't.
Yes.
But it's Top Gun is my favorite movie. We will fist fight in here, but
Okay.
His most interesting.
Interesting
and
because it steps away from everything he has ever done.
and a lot of it is just breaking the fourth wall, or almost like breaking the fifth wall. And
Yes, it's so great to me. Like Tropic Thunder, I think, is one of the best like comedy films we had from that time. Plus, also, like I said, the all-star cast, like Matthew McConaughey trying to get them TiVo in the middle.
Oh yeah, and then he takes out the helicopter.
Yes, like
He's like, I killed the thing that I love the most. He's like, oh, God,
hooker?
You killed a hooker.
yeah.
Don't go anyway. So he's all talking about it.
Plus Tom Cruise's dance scene at the end. That shit was awesome.
That's awesome, but can I just say also I love Tobey Maguire and RDJ, you know, with their little crucifix and beads and holding hands. It's pretty great.
By the way, I've been trying to stop the dogs from doing that.
So have
every time
I.
I'm
I've
here,
tried.
so we did such a good job.
We really
good.
try, but you know.
She's never done that.
yeah, she almost pulled the mixer right off the table.
Have to
I'm
beat her.
glad it wasn't a whiskey night. I would be looking for a new mixer.
So we should probably get into our
Yeah, we
trivia.
probably should. We
So
go
we're gonna-
off on tangents.
It's the Comix Zone Challenge, Nerdalism Trivia. The rules are simple. 2 minutes to answer as many questions as you can. The one with the most points wins. The game master, me, makes up all the rules. Even when I'm wrong, I'm right. That's just the way it is. Today, MCU Trivia. All right, Comix Zone Challenge. Mike in the hot seat. Are you ready?
Bro, I'm about to fucking win.
All right, let's see here. Okay. What is the name of the alien race that attacked New York City in the first Avengers film?
Chitauri.
Correct. Chitauri. Close enough.
Chitauri. My bad.
Who directed the first Avengers movie?
Oh, fuck. I don't know. Your mother.
Oh, that's what she said. That is wrong, but we keep going. What is the name of the villain in Black Panther?
Killmonger.
Correct. What is the name of Thor's hammer?
Mjolnir.
That is correct. What is the name of the AI assistant in Spider-Man's suit in Homecoming?
Oh, Friday.
I need to speak to the manager.
Wednesday.
It's Karen.
No. What was it?
Karen.
What?
Yeah. Which film does Captain America say Avengers Assemble? What was the first movie he said Avengers Assemble?
Endgame.
That is the wrong button. That is correct. What is the name of the terrorist group that captures Tony Stark in the first Iron Man movie?
Oh, I don't know.
10 rings. What does Jarvis stand for?
Butler.
Just a rather very intelligent system. In which MCU movie does Black Widow make her first appearance?
That'd be Iron Man 2.
That is correct. What is the name of the Soviet program that trained Black Widow and other assassins in the MCU? Some time here.
Yeah, I don't know.
What MCU movie does the Black Panther make his first appearance?
Civil War.
Oh, wait, that is correct. Captain America Civil War.
Okay. Yeah, it's
Yes.
gonna be like, what?
Yeah, pretty good.
I think I only missed like 3, right?
You missed 3 out of, we got to 15. So you scored 12, if I did my math right.
Okay.
Okay, now Chelsea in the hot seat for the next round of the Comix Zone Challenge. Blah, blah, blah. Words are difficult.
Words are very difficult.
All
It's
right.
hard to English.
Here we go.
Okay.
What is the name of the alien race that attacked New York City in the first Avengers film?
Chitauri.
That is correct. Who directed the first Avengers movie?
Joss Whedon.
Correct. What is the name of Thor's hammer?
Mjolnir.
I was going to be disappointed if you got that wrong, but I knew you wouldn't. What is the name of the villain in Black Panther?
Killmonger.
Correct. What is the name of the planet where the Soul Stone is located in Avengers: Infinity War? The Soul Stone is located on what planet?
Is it Sakaar? No, okay.
Volmir?
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't have known that.
What is the name of the AI assistant in Spider-Man's suit in Homecoming?
Is it Karen?
That is correct.
Yes, okay.
We didn't have to call the manager. In which film does Captain America say the first time he says Avengers Assemble?
Isn't it the very first one, Avengers?
Endgame. In which movie does the Hulk first appear as a speaking character?
Avengers?
That is
Okay.
correct. What is the name of the mystical artifact Doctor Strange uses to manipulate time?
The Time Stone?
No. What is the name of the terrorist group that captures Tony Stark in the first Iron Man movie?
Oh my god, I literally just watched that this morning too. I have no idea.
10 rings.
The 10 Rings.
What does Jarvis stand for?
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna know that at all.
Just a rather very intelligent system. In which MCU movie does Black Widow make her first appearance?
Iron Man 2?
That is correct. What is the name of the Soviet program that trained Black Widow and other assassins?
Oh, isn't it like Red Room?
That is correct.
Okay.
That is the wrong button. In which MCU movie does Black Panther make his first appearance?
Oh god, isn't it Black Panther?
No,
No, it's Civil War.
it is Civil War.
Damn.
I think you ran through more questions. I didn't count those right, so that's going to be a problem. But we will see who wins after Sean's next in the
right.
hot seat.
Sounds good.
All right. So again, 2 minutes. Get through as many of these questions as you can, and then I'll have to see if I can count, which is going to be a challenge to see who actually win.
All right.
But as I make up the rules, it doesn't matter.
All right.
All right. Here we go with MCU Trivia. What is the name of the alien race that attacked New York City in the first Avengers?
Chitauri.
That is correct. Who directed the first Avengers movie?
Shit. Funny looking racist guy. I can't remember his name.
What is the name of Thor's hammer?
Milnor.
Yeah, close enough. What is the name of the villain in Black Panther?
Killmonger.
What is the name of the planet where the Soul Stone is located in Infinity War?
Who knows?
Vormir. What is the name of the AI assistant in Spider-Man's suit in Homecoming?
Oh shit. It's the redhead girl. I can't remember her name. Damn it.
Karen. Name is Karen. Gonna have to speak to the manager about that one. Which film does Captain America say Avengers assemble for the first time?
Avengers.
Endgame.
Damn it.
In which movie does Hulk make his first appearance as a speaking role?
The Incredible Hulk.
Avengers Endgame. In which movie does what is the name of the planet where Hulk stood against Thor Ragnarok?
Sakaar.
That is correct. Wrong button for me. What is the name of the mystical artifact Doctor Strange uses to manipulate time?
The Eye of Agamotto.
That is correct. What is the name of the terrorist group that captures Tony Stark in the first Iron Man movie?
7 Rings.
That is close. I'm going to give it to you as 10 rings.
Shit, my bad. All right.
You were the closest one so far. Which MCU movie does Black Widow make her first appearance?
Iron Man 2.
That is correct. What does Jarvis stand for?
Jack it off a lot, damn it.
Just a rather very intelligent system.
That's right.
In which MCU movie does... I can give you one more. What is the name of the metal that is mixed exclusively in Wakanda Black Panther to make suits and weapons?
Vibranium.
That is correct. All right, we're back. I've got the results for our trivia. It was a very close. Mike came in with, after I counted and did my math correctly, you got 6 points. I said 12 early. I was completely fucking wrong.
I was like,
But you still did pretty good. Nike got a total of 8 points. Chelsea came in with a total of 8 points. So we have a tie.
But I also want to say we had different questions too.
You
That is
did.
true, but I just have to say though, as far behind as I was in the actual MCU compared to literally everybody else and how many times you've watched it, like I'm going to take that as a win that I tied with you, and we know that you probably know way more about the MCU than even I do.
this has been the second time I fucking lost.
Mike, you need to get
I know.
good.
I fucking suck, man.
All right, now before we go any further, I have a challenge.
Okay, you
Okay,
challenge.
what's your challenge?
My challenge is the first speaking role for the Hulk, and this is my reason for it.
Because you went pre MCU based on how these questions were written. It was focusing more on the MCU, not the. And your answer was the Incredible Hulk.
which is the second film, the one with Ed Norton.
I have
which
an argument.
is canon.
That is part
Here's
of
the
the
thing,
MCU.
though. I will argue, though, that it did not become canon, though, until She-Hulk.
You know how I can say that's false? Because every time, what's his name?
Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, every time Mark
Buffalo.
Ruffalo's Bruce Banner character spoke about past events, he spoke about some of the events that happened in fucking The Incredible Hulk.
True, but it wasn't confirmed, though.
Wait, but at the end of that movie, don't you see Nick Fury?
Yes,
And
So,
Iron
I mean,
Man.
Yes,
It's-
that's true.
it's
And
always
Iron Man, yes.
Yeah, we
It's
saw.
always been canon.
it's always been canon. Thank you.
I don't think I can.
Technically, it's the second movie in all of the MCU.
That's true. That is
Yeah.
very true. It is technically the second
came out
movie
right
in Phase
after-
1, but
It's the redheaded stepchild that's
It is
been
kinda
written
facts.
off.
it is. It has.
But it is canon.
It is canon, but I guess, like I said, I would make the argument that I'd say for a lot of us, though, it didn't become canon until we watched She-Hulk, and then it was like, okay,
For
like
you, maybe.
Yeah, I mean-
like I said, the reason I'm saying it is because, like I said, before there were Avengers, the events that happened in the post-credit scenes make it canon because that was them. And what's his name? General
Ross is in
Thunderbolt
there.
Ross. That
Yeah,
all of the-
remember he's in the bar. Reload. He's taking those Incredible Hulk shots,
yeah.
yep.
and they're the green.
So by the wording of the question alone, I argue that one.
Okay,
I agree.
your challenge has been heard, and I'm going to throw a
take a vote.
tiebreaker question. Nope, I make all the rules.
Okay, okay. Here's the thing, though: do we shout it out? Do we raise hands? Because you've seen me and Sean go with trivia questions.
I'm debating that same question now, and I'm just gonna be fucking crazy, and you're gonna have to shout it out.
Okay. Hold on.
So, but it's not until I say read the end of the question.
Okay, so you have to read the full question.
This
Okay,
is a Thor question. It's not fair. You're going to win, but
please let it be.
Well,
Thor.
see, I think I gave her more Thor question. I gave you more Wakanda questions.
touche.
And
So
I got,
that is why I go to the tiebreaker question rather than giving you points
But I
for your
am mad.
challenge.
That's why I am mad. I didn't get the Civil War question. That would have.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
I got it too late.
So
All right.
I'm going to say this question twice.
'Kay.
And then at the end of the time, second reading, you shout it out.
Okay.
In Avengers: Age of Ultron, what is the name of the African country which Ultron attacks in the opening scene? What is the African country that Ultron attacks? Ooh.
Shit.
All right. There was also some accords named after it.
Sokovia. I didn't know it was African.
I didn't either, though. I thought, I'll be okay. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was European. It sounded
So did
like
I.
a European name. So
And then especially with
Okay,
How
wait.
did you
so
know it was African? Or is that the AI?
Yeah.
can we have a different tiebreaker question? Since I
Fuck that.
no, he just
That was the best one that I got. And it's
Okay, fine, fine.
So,
But honestly, I would understand a challenge for that because just the fact with Baron Zemo, what was Zero helmet? You know what I
God,
mean?
he was so good.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I
which
love
isn't, which
him.
isn't to say there aren't white Africans because we know there are all South
right,
Africans for the most part. But yeah,
Sarkovia to me sounds like
Russian,
Yeah,
something
yes, like almost like a
Ukrainian
Russian, or even where like
Let me make sure I wrote-
Doctor Doom would reside.
what
yeah,
was the name of the African country? Yeah,
That's Latveria.
Latveria.
I know it's Latveria, but Latveria, Sarkovia, like
Right,
they
right, right.
all kind of sound the same.
But it was darn close. But I got to say, whoop, I hit the wrong button again. Sean is
You know
the
what,
winner.
though? I mean,
You did well. You did well. You did well.
I tried.
It was really close. I think between the challenge and the rebound question,
I gotta
He
quit
takes it.
fucking losing, man.
Yeah, like I said, you
damn,
gotta
almost.
get good, man.
I
Like,
know I fucking suck.
we obviously
Hey,
have a
honestly, though, they were
problem.
still close. If we were only like 2 questions off between the 3 of us out of 20 some odd questions, that's not bad. Man.
Yeah.
It's really
not
not.
bad
I
at
feel
all.
like I did pretty good considering.
I can't believe you got the Karen one right. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's
yo.
crazy.
That
I said Friday.
Yeah. My
Okay,
girl
see,
Friday.
I knew that it used to be Friday, and I was like, "That's not his." And I'm like,
Yeah,
"It-
Friday was the
I
second
knew
one
that she had
after
like a
Jarvis.
normal name,
Yeah.
but I was like,
That's
"It's
who he replaced Jarvis with after he
yeah, it was
became
Friday," and then obviously
And I honestly,
Peter
in
Parker,
Age
it's
of Ultron.
Karen.
yeah, I'll say this too. I was wrong when I said the redhead because I look, I live on IMDb, the Internet Movie Database.
Oh yeah,
But Friday is the redhead chick that voices her, and she was an actual character in Walking Dead. So I still would have been wrong because it wasn't the one that played Karen. So props to you
okay.
on that.
Like I said, I don't know how.
Yeah,
I
was like,
randomly
holy
remembered
shit.
that it was Karen, but
Yeah, I could have sat here all day. And
I
wouldn't
think
have
your
got that one.
strategy, you were able to get through the questions faster. And it
Yeah,
probably helped that I was
probably.
able to read them faster too.
right.
Yeah, instead of getting your sorry jokes in on it.
That's how the cookie crumbles.
Yeah.
I think maybe we should next time just make it a set 10 questions so that way.
Right.
Anyway, I think it'll evolve as we go.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, there were some
that
other
was fun, though.
questions.
Yeah, I want to hear what some of the other questions
Yeah.
were.
So
same.
in the Guardians of the Galaxy 2, what is the name of the planet where Peter Quill meets his father for the first time?
It's not Ego. Ego.
Oh yeah.
It is Ego.
That's
it?
where he
Oh,
met
yeah,
his-
he
was-
is
he
on
was
Ego.
he
the
is
planet.
the planet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
What is the name of the blue-skinned Ravenger who is the father figure to Peter?
Oh, the dude with the
yeah.
arrow. Shit.
Yeah, what is this fucking? Damn, that's
Oh shit.
And I play. I
Yondu.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. There. Hey, look at you getting
There you
good.
go.
Yeah.
I think it's the time crunch. It's the music that
Mary
makes you nervous.
Poppins.
Mary Poppins.
Mary fucking
Mary
Poppins.
Poppins, y'all.
This is. I should have moved this one to the top. What movie does Captain America say this line for the very first time? I can do this all day.
Captain
Winter
America,
Soldier.
the first Avenger.
Yep.
First Avenger.
Yep.
The first
He said
Avenger?
that before he
says it
got his
before he's
powers.
Cap. Yeah,
He does
was
when
in
he's
Brooklyn
fighting in the alley. Yep.
Yep, in the alley when he gets his ass beat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And Bucky had
that's
to
true.
save him.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is kind of a. I won't say. In the movie Ant-Man, what is the name of the company that Darren Cross runs?
It's the first Ant-Man's company.
MODOK. No.
No.
Fuck, dude, I can't.
Wait, but hold up. Oh, shit. What's the first Ant-Man's name?
It's.
him.
I think you're thinking it too much.
It's not Pym Technologies?
Well, no,
Pim-
that
Pim-
Darren when he takes over,
He changes the name.
he changes the name
Oh, then I
to
don't know.
Cross Technologies.
Cross
So just as part of his
technologies.
part of
Okay.
his name.
I would have missed that one.
I'm not a dick.
You're like,
It's like at least I died in Avenger. They're like,
Okay,
We'll
sure.
let you believe that.
Whatever
nobody else
helps you
is
die
around.
easier.
You can-
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that was pretty much all of them. Egos. Who portrays Kang the Conqueror? Which actor? Who's the actor?
Jonathan Majors. Yeah.
that dude's awesome.
He is
Yeah, he's definitely
majorly
one of 'em.
adorable.
I'm straight and fuck, yo. That's a nice looking guy, man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Otherwise,
An amazing
we ran
actor.
through all of those. So
Damn. Go us.
Yeah.
between skipping fuse between random ones, that was it.
So recently, I just got a new tattoo, little Ninja Turtle. I don't know if you could see it on the camera there, but we just had Ashley Matthews, our favorite tattoo artist here in town. So that episode should be out a week before this one, right?
It's out. Yeah. So it just
So
came
by
out.
the time this comes out,
It'll be yeah.
it'll already be out. So go check that.
And
one
by the
out.
way, I said I wanted to join in because I want the Mikey.
Yeah, he's gonna get the
Michelangelo.
one.
Yes.
Very nice.
Nunchucks, baby.
Yeah.
Nothing like smacking yourself in the nuts.
Oh,
Or
I
not
meant the
Or
head.
the face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or both.
Yeah.
Boom, boom. Top, bottom. Ouch.
Yep.
Top, bottom.
Yeah. Face. I don't know. I'm just making.
Yeah, you can really injure
Who's the
yourself
top?
with those things.
Who's the top? Who's the bottom?
your teeth.
Oh man.
I'm not answering that.
Come on, man.
I was going to say it's my wife.
Oh,
Oh,
That's
hey.
boring.
he's the top.
She's the top. She makes all the fucking rules. What do
I
you say?
fucking knew it.
We
Yo,
knew,
there's something
we
I
already
want to say,
guessed.
especially to you two. You know what I
Okay.
mean? For the as far as the Dragon Eats balls, and because I'm a big time anime fan, I have been for a long time, manga as well.
Yeah.
If you have never seen, I would highly say watch Ranma 1/2 because I think that would make a very good episode.
What's it called?
Ranma 1/2.
Okay.
I'll give you a quick rundown. It's about
Please text me that name too.
Yeah.
I'll forget.
it's one of my favorite series of all time. It is my favorite series. I'll be honest. It's about this boy and his father that are martial artists, and they're traveling. I believe they're all Japanese, and they travel to China at these cursed springs where people have fallen, like died in these little bitty springs. There's a whole bunch of them together, and if you fuck around and fall in them, you turn into whatever fell in there. So the kid Ranma falls in. He's a 17-year-old boy.
Why is everybody falling in these?
Well, because they're doing martial arts on like these
okay.
poles, and you get kicked and you fall off. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't personally have gone there, but it's a cartoon, so it is what it is. But every time he gets wet, he turns into a very voluptuous redheaded girl.
Every
and
time he gets
Of
wet.
course you love it. Then
No, but
that's
hold on,
why
no.
it's your
All
fave.
right, yes, but no. But
Yeah.
Yes, but
thing
no.
is, all right, so there's an arranged marriage to another martial artist that has these three girls, 19, 17, and 15, but they don't know about his curse. And the whole show, you know what I mean? It's very funny, but it's got some, you get very attached to all the characters, and that's all I'm gonna tell you about it. And of course, cold water turns him into the
Hey,
girl.
you know what? You watched Steins Gate for me, and you loved it. I will watch that for you.
Ranma 1/2.
Speaking of Steins Gate and like characters that you get attached to, I mean, we go over it by the time we're done with Steins Gate, we'll have done 4 podcasts. And we go over it in way more detail. But that, I gotta say, like when I started out and I got through like 2 episodes,
Do that again.
I'm sitting here thinking the whole time, like, what the fuck? I'm not seeing what everybody else is seeing. Like, and then Chelsea, we talked about it about the first 4 episodes on the first show, which is out, like I said. And just talking through it, with Chelsea and Vince, and then it kind of brought things, we worked it out, and I was able to work things out, and I didn't know like a lot of shit.
Yeah,
obviously, but
you really don't.
It kind of got me on track to like enjoying it more, and then as I watched more of it, you just start to enjoy it more and more. It's kind of a hard sell.
It is,
It
Bill.
is. Because
Bill?
it's different
Well-
than most. Bill didn't
There
like
were
it. When
there were
Yeah.
real world stuff that caused me to be distracted from it, and I think it was hard to get into. And then at a certain
is.
point, it was just like there wasn't, usually like in more Western or English Western, not country Western, but that there's like a rise and fall of an action, and there's like a breathing in and breathing out. Towards the end of it, it was all just like a crescendo, building up, and it was kind of anxious to watch.
It is very anxiety inducing. I think especially like we've talked about, once you literally hit the halfway
the
mark
halfway point.
in the season, once you get to episode 12, you're just like,
Yeah, there's a turning point.
It
But
does.
then everything starts coming full circle too. And
It
you know what?
does.
I
And
think
when-
a lot of the things that people like, because when you think of anime, you start thinking about violence and martial arts. And this one, I think it's more.
doesn't-
I think it's more cerebral.
There is violence.
it's very
but
much,
more,
but
it's
yeah.
more thought provoking. You're not having a bunch of, his power levels over 9,000 dudes
Yeah.
fighting with their kamehamehas and
Yep.
shit like that. It's thought provoking, and you have to pay attention to it and actually think about it when you're watching it. And it's like I've told you, I think if you were to go back and watch it again now, like
Yeah,
just
you-
binge it all the way through, it makes so much more sense to you. And even in the first episode, you pick up on shit
Oh, yeah.
and go,
because that's the
oh.
thing. That's the thing is like when it starts. I mean, the show
You're
opens.
just thrown in the
and
middle of
it's
shit.
like there was an episode before it, but there's
You
not.
don't see it.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It just
And that's the
jumps-
way they need it to be, though, honestly, for it to come full circle in the end.
Right, and it's one of the tightest stories I've I mean, we compared a lot to like Brandon Sanderson's writing and his novels and shit, and just
I would almost remind me of Memento in a little ways.
Yes.
yeah, and how
Yes.
how
or like
everything-
undoing the butterfly effect of the shit that you
Yep.
cause and trying to,
Right.
put the toothpaste back in the tube, to use another metaphor.
Exactly.
Memento,
Yeah.
which is
That's
a
a
quick
crazy
tie-in. If you've never seen Memento, definitely watch it. But dude from Iron Man 3, the bad guy from Iron Man 3, is the main protagonist in Memento.
Isn't that what's his name? Guy Pearce.
Yes.
Memento's the
Oh,
one where he's
I love him.
the one where he loses his memory every day.
Yeah,
and
he
that's-
has
to
short-term memory
He
loss.
has to tattoo himself.
Yep.
Yep.
But when
He's
you-
like
never
solving
mind.
them.
Yeah, we can't say anything else
Yeah,
without
yeah.
ruining that movie. So if you haven't seen it, watch Memento. It's one of my favorite films.
It's a crazy movie
Yeah.
for sure. But yeah, if you haven't checked out Dragon These Balls, go check that out. We've covered all of Dragon Ball, all the way up to Super, and completing at the Tournament of Power.
Oh shit! Real quick, I didn't finish Super. I'm still watching it.
Mm-hmm.
But I did. Because it just came out on video last week. I did watch Dragon Ball Superhero, the movie.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit! That shit was gangster.
That's
Did
gonna
you
make
love Orange Piccolo?
Fuck yes.
that stuff's gonna
Piccolo
make
and Vegeta are my two favorites.
Piccolo is one of my most faves. I love him.
that stuff's gonna make a little more sense after you get through.
Yeah,
Super.
for sure.
But it was still easy to. And honestly, I think it was nice because it was more Piccolo and Gohan centric than Vegeta and Goku
Well,
centric.
and Gohan's done being like a little bitch now too. So
Hey
that
man, you can't expect. The way he was raised, you kind of got to understand it, man. You know what I mean? His daddy
Okay,
wasn't around for a lot of
no,
shit.
you know what happened? You know what fucking happened? He got pussy whipped. That's what happened. And then Videl turned into a
She
little
got pussy
19.
whipped too, though.
Yeah, she did. She turned to that little 1950s housewife, and then he was like,
Yeah.
studies.
I hate that about
Fucking hate it.
That's like one of the
Hate
things that I hate.
Hey,
is
but
that
you know
they-
what? That's realistic. Some good pussy will do that to you.
Well, no, I'm talking about Videl. I'm talking about Videl and like how she was a little firecracker in Dragon Ball Z and like badass, and like they completely changed her character to where she's not even the same thing
You
anymore.
want to know what though? I will say that for someone that's lived in Japan, I'm surprised the female characters that have survived are as strong as they are, because that's not something you're going to see in Japanese cinema.
Okay, but you were in Japan, like what? Like back in the Stone Age, you were bartering with like fur and bones.
First and
so-
foremost, Dragon Ball Z was still on TV while I was there. Like I was there while it was live.
Okay,
You know
that
what I
was
mean?
that was Z. Okay, we've moved on.
True
Times
enough,
have
but
changed.
I was there from 96 till 97. So.
We are in 2023. Okay, like it's been like 30 years.
And everything ain't the same in America the way it is over there.
That's true.
Even
but
to
I'm
this
not-
day. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's
Saying.
completely different over there.
Yeah.
It is, but I'm not saying that it's all exactly the same as it was when you were there.
Touche. Motherfucker.
Bazinga.
I've never been there, so
So yeah, go check those out. We did do an episode on Dragon Ball Superhero. That was a good episode too. I don't think you were on that.
I don't think I was either.
But yeah, go check those episodes out, and we're on YouTube as well.
doing a lot more YouTube
All of
stuff.
these,
Yes, we are. That's why I do my makeup, okay? Like, just for you guys.
Jeffree
Just-
Star will be so thankful you're using his products.
I am. This is Jawbreaker palette, and we have some of his velour.
For the ladies.
Lipsticks. Yeah, just so you know.
I keep saying it, man. We got to get him on the show.
We're going to try and make that happen.
We should
We'll do it.
definitely.
What are we going to talk about?
Makeup, yo! Oh my god, I love it. We got
that's
got
easy.
primers and moisturizers
easy
and
part.
concealers, foundations, face powders. Primers. Ugh, we could talk about
This is
it
the
all.
most girly you've ever been. Hey, yo, before we go, I know it's not comic book, but it's still in the whole nerd-gasm genre. Yo, can we talk about how dope The Last of Us is?
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
We need a whole episode devoted to that.
should do it.
but
Show on
And we
it.
really should, because it exceeded all expectations I ever had about I guess it's not really a zombie show, but originally I thought that's what it was going to be, and it turned out to be different, which I personally liked, since I have a very irrational fear that's real of a zombie apocalypse. Don't judge me.
Judging.
I blame the CDC for years ago when the Walking
Pfizer.
Dude, when The Walking Dead came out, CDC was putting posters up in all the clinics about, are you prepared for the zombie apocalypse? And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm going to die. And I am. Like, we've already determined I won't survive the first 24 hours.
There's
but
one thing I want to say about this, and this is because we're in Wyoming. So for if you're watching and you're not here, I have friends, like I play Marvel Contest of Champions, which is a app-based video game, and of course I'm online in Discord,
Right.
Because you can't chat on it in the game, you'll get fucking lost. But
Oh, you get on Discord and join a little. That's
Yep.
what's up.
yeah, because it's the best way for us all to talk and at the same time.
Yeah, as I say,
and see
Discord
what's going
definitely
on.
is the best way.
Mine
for
is
sure.
the same.
Yeah.
But at any rate, my team, so it's 30 people in my alliance, and they're from literally all around the world. So we've got Africa. What's the Chinook? Please don't kill me, homie. It's one of the South American countries, but the one that they speak Portuguese instead of Spanish. Brazil.
Brazil.
Oof. So Brazilian, there's a dude from Wales. We've got people from literally all over the world on our team, and they've been watching The Last of Us, and a lot of them have played the video game and stuff too. So it's been crazy. They were like, yo, did they actually film that in Wyoming? And how accurate was this? And
You
this?
know they didn't because it wasn't windy enough when they were doing the Wyoming scene.
Or
You
snowy.
weren't watching all of it because they actually had wind machines out. Pedro
Okay,
Pascal
here's the
said
thing,
he was
like-
out there freezing for the last 3
But
episodes.
also, look at what the hell they were wearing. Okay, I'm sorry, but the shit they were wearing, you are not going to survive in Wyoming.
You're
in that
gonna-
shit.
I don't know.
Like,
They were
just-
in Canada. Yeah, so it's not like
Just
it's
like
not
as your
cold there.
shoes, if you're wearing Chuck All Stars, you're probably not going to survive the zombie apocalypse.
Like
Touche. You're
Joel
gonna run
and his
fast
like
as fuck in
leather
them things, what do you
jacket
mean?
and his like button up, dude. He was gonna die, okay? But you know what? I'll forgive it because I don't care. It was
Okay,
awesome.
can I?
It was gangster.
So
I want to say that for me, I like the show, but also it feels like ground we've already trodden with The Walking Dead. It feels
I
very
disagree.
much.
I do too.
It's kind of the same
yo,
vibe.
They could almost the same vibes, but they could almost exist in the same world.
Here's the
Yeah.
thing, though.
Agree.
That's
you
what I
know-
mean. It feels like an episode of The Walking Dead.
But I mean, yo, we could,
here's
but
the thing.
we could get into that. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. We could get in that same argument with the difference between what's going on in the MCU and what's going on in DCEU. You know what I mean?
Or Ant-Man and Star Wars.
Yeah, these are which we have.
Yeah.
They're similar genres, but the way the story is being told is different.
Exactly, because with The Walking Dead, a lot of it was about the zombies and the apocalypse. Like I read all the comics, before the show even finished up. Like I had been through almost all of them. Like that one is definitely about the zombies, whereas The Last of Us, sorry. Even like the creator of it has said, yes, it's set in an apocalypse with, they don't call them zombies, they are cordyceps or the infected. That is supposed to be
They
about.
never call them zombies in The Walking Dead either.
Yeah, well, I don't care. That's a
But
little
they
too
are.
Anyway, I didn't mean to-
hardcore on the zombies for me. I can't. It's too anxiety inducing.
What's your point?
But
I didn't mean
my
to.
point is that when they created the Last of Us video game, it was intended to be set in the apocalypse, but it's more about how humankind
About people.
is. Yes, about how people are and how they are going to be in that type of situation. It's not meant to be a zombie show, which is what I think I like about
I
it.
think I would
It's
argue.
very character driven.
I think I would
Yes.
argue that The Walking Dead is the same.
But they have
That is a
Jeff
show
and Dean.
But there's
No,
more.
no, no,
There's
no, hear me
more.
out, hear
There's
me out.
more zombies.
Hear me out. There's more zombies, yes, but the zombies are never the main threat.
Here's my argument, though.
It's
With
always other people.
this
In the
will
be-
be
in the
my
first-
argument with The Walking Dead. They veer so far from the comics. You know, Glenn, everybody's favorite character.
Not mine.
Fucking head bashed in.
He's not a comic book character.
I know he was never in it.
They changed it up so much, and I like that with The Last of Us. Yes, we've talked about how Frank and Bill.
That was the
obviously,
best episode. I don't give
It's
a fuck.
one
I
of the best
disagree.
ones.
It was one of. I like what they did, but it was not the best.
I like what they did, but yeah, I agree. It wasn't the best one. However, I think they kept more with it, whereas The Walking Dead, they said, you know what, fuck it.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to go much with the comics. We're going to go with what the fans like, which, okay, like, fair enough. But
Game of Thrones is the same thing.
for those of us
Yeah.
who read the Walking
Yeah.
Dead comics, I mean, they were great. Honestly, they were dark and they were brutal. And I feel like by them introducing so many characters that didn't even exist in that world, it kind of messed it up for us. Whereas The Last of Us, yes, they took some liberties with it. However,
They stuck really close to the
they
source.
stuck so close with it that probably all of us fans of it who know what happens in the game, we're going to be furious by the end of it. It's going to happen.
Here's one thing that I think a lot of nerds don't give credit for when it comes to changing of Bill, what's the word I'm looking for? Changing of mediums. Like you have to allow some changes because things that work in a comic book aren't going to work on TV.
Well, they even said
play
Last
on-
of
a
Us
play on
video
this
game
word.
shit is not going to work on film. You can't do everything in video games on film. It does not work that way.
The medium is the massage.
Yes.
There's
Yes.
this actual. I mean, it's also a play on words of the media is the message. Whatever media is has to be massaged into that form, whether it's
Like
podcast,
in radio,
movie, video game.
in radio, we
So
massage our stations.
You inevitably have to take liberties at some point.
You have to.
Just
You'd
like
be
they
boring if you didn't.
Yeah, I mean,
To a point.
And I agree with taking liberties, but I think when you do take them to the extent that, say, like you're creating characters and scenarios that were never part of the original source material, there are those of us that love it that are going our feelings are going to get hurt because we know it is one
all right.
way.
Well,
and,
look at-
and okay, I'm talking drastic changes. I understand. Like, okay, let's say Frank and Bill. I
Love and
understand.
Thunder.
I understand what. No.
No, I mean,
No.
as far as an example of the bad, as an
That is
example,
bad.
that's the example of the
movie's okay, guys.
All right, hold up, yo. But here's the example that I'm going to use. Every time I've been on this show, almost every single time, with the exception of the Batman episode, I have always complained about how the first 3 fucking X-Men movies veered so far from the source material.
Oh, yeah.
With stupid shit I didn't think they
Right.
needed to change, like characters' ages. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I to this day, I still don't
Doesn't make any
understand the
sense.
reason why they did that. That was lazy writing to me. I understand now with the MCU, I understand why they've made certain changes.
Certain ones.
Money wise, now I will give you Love and Thunder went way further than it should have. But because I have been on this ride for 10 years now, I'm a lot more susceptible to changes than I was when it first came out. Now, that also being said, you know what I mean? There are some very drastic changes that, as a hardcore comic book fan, I thought worked. Prime example being motherfucking Namor in Wakanda Forever. I think that was done well, and it was done for a very good reason,
My pants.
and I'm all for it. You know what I mean?
I think it just depends, honestly. Like, okay, so like let's take the Frank and Bill episode. Originally in the video game,
Yeah, you only get snippets, right?
you get snippets, and in the end, okay, Frank, he's not.
Spoiler alert!
Spoiler alert! Yeah, here, give the soundbite, okay? Because in the video game, Frank gets infected, and he goes and he hangs himself because he also hates Bill at this point. Their relationship, because Bill essentially kept him isolated. He didn't have friends. It wasn't like the TV show where he kind of brings him out of his shell. He kills himself and writes him a note saying, "I hate you."
And then
essentially.
they die romantically together in the
Exactly.
in
And
the
so
show.
they changed it up in the show, which honestly I appreciated. I know a lot of fans of the game, they weren't upset about that. And so in certain instances like that, I can get it though. But as far as like, okay, like I said, with The Walking Dead, how Glenn became such a huge thing and like this main point of the show that everybody got upset over, for me, it was a bummer because there was so much more to me in the comics that I read that was better, that they didn't need to bring him in there to just make him this fan favorite to kill off. You know,
I
we
think- I
had
feel you.
so much shit like was going on with the governor and Michonne, and then you bring Negan into it. And I felt like they just added a bunch of unnecessary shit that didn't add to it.
But Glenn is the first character that Rick runs into.
And not in the comics,
I know
yo.
that, but I'm saying like they didn't make him just to like bash his brains in later. I think, like you said, it's liberties, but I mean, people were attached to him. I got a question for you though.
Okay.
So the Frank and Bill thing.
Yes.
They only kind of hint
At them being
at
gay.
them being
In the game. In the
Yeah.
game, they just essentially say, like, he's my partner, but they don't elaborate more on
don't.
it. No, they don't.
Well, and
There's a lot of things they didn't do in the game either. Like they don't ever in the game have to use the bathroom or anything like that. In the first episode, they show Ellie fucking getting tampons and
Well,
shit.
and there's two other things too. In the game, they don't actually tell you. You don't get a concrete answer of the cordyceps, how it started, where it started. I mean, obviously in the show you get those hints. You know, it was
bread.
well, okay. So the old lady, she eats the biscuits. Obviously, she gets infected. Joel forgot to buy pancake mix and cake mix for his daughter to make him, so they
Didn't
were
get
safe.
the cake either.
They didn't get the cake mix. They were fine.
Yeah.
So that part is different. And then, God, I feel like there's some other parts of it
There
too. I mean, like even the way that Tess died, that was different. You know, there's certain things about it that they do change, but I think it helped the flow of it being a TV show without us being like, what are we
But,
watching?
and that's something I think us hardcore, us four especially.
Yeah, we have a problem.
we often have a problem
We
with
do.
those changes. And you got to think for people that aren't hardcore fans, because this is all a money grab. Let's be
Yeah,
like,
oh yeah.
I wouldn't
for
say
sure.
money grab. It's a business.
it's a business.
They're
Yeah,
is
trying
a
to make,
business.
and there's nothing wrong with making a profit.
exactly.
If they
Well,
don't make
that's
a
why they
profit,
made
they're
the
not
game.
making more
Yeah.
That's
TV.
why they made the game in the first place. Speaking of like, so Last of Us would be an example of sticking to the source material pretty well.
For sure.
Now look at Resident Evil.
Oh my
I
god.
You mean like the first
That's-
5 movies?
Yeah, but yeah. So
Yeah.
that's the complete
Opposite.
extreme opposite, where they didn't stick to anything.
But you want to know something though?
They pretty much took the characters' names and that was about
I
it.
still enjoyed those Resident Evil movies
Yeah, they're
with Mila
good.
Jovovich.
They're good for what they are, but you could have made a really, really
could
fucking
have.
scary movie out
Yeah.
of the first game, and then
The
this-
first 4 games, honestly,
Yes.
you could have
the
done.
first game that
some
movie would be
good
so
shit.
scary. You could play on. You don't have to show a bunch of zombies. You play on that jump, kind of scary. Like you don't quite see shit, and whenever you see a zombie, it's like, whoa, what the fuck?
But think about it. The new Resident Evil movie that just came out that had a bunch of B and C listers.
that movie. No, it's a show. It was a show.
No, I like the show.
There's a show.
There was
Show
a
was
movie
good.
too. No, there was a movie too. I took my kids to it. I can't remember what it was called, but it's a lot closer to the game.
Was it
and
the animated one?
No, there was a movie came out last year,
Huh?
and it got shitted on. That's why you don't know because it got
Mila
shitted
is
on.
Mila in it?
No,
No.
it was like a reboot, and I thought it is scarier. It falls under that horror flick. Like my 19-year-old son had nightmares. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
After we watched it, I thought it
I
was
like
good.
how you revel in that fact too.
I did.
You're
I
like,
Yeah, sure. You have to take a little.
That laugh.
That's just your right. That's just your right as a parent.
Right? But yo, for real. But the new movie, which like it's a complete reboot of all the Mila Jovovich ones. This is a completely different film, starting over from scratch from the first one.
And it
It's
just
a
didn't
lot
do good.
closer to the games
Yeah.
with the characters and the storyline, and it got totally shitted on. And I think it was because it didn't have an A-lister in it, and I think it was a great movie.
well, and that is such a bummer for a lot of us
Final.
because
No, that's 20.
they have to ride that final line, you know, between what true, let's say, like video game, comic, whatever, fans want versus just their general audience of their business. And that's what makes it so hard. And I really think with The Last of Us, they did that perfect in between.
Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City came out in 2021.
Oh, okay.
That's right. Yep.
And I thought it was really, really, really good.
Let's
and it
be
got
honest.
shitted on.
I probably won't watch it because I'm terrified of zombies. I mean, let's face it. I watched Last of Us because for one, they're like fungi, so they're not as scary.
They're not zombies.
And for two, Pedro Pascal. You
Yeah,
know,
tell me to shut up again.
tell me to shut up again.
She played the funniest fucking meme the other, or no.
I will show it to you. It's a video of,
Funny.
you know, if you were in the apocalypse with, you know, him, and
Yeah,
you'd be
tell
like,
me
you
to
know,
shut up
I'm not
again.
infected, but you can buy me if you want. You know?
Yeah, it's really fucking funny.
It speaks my truth. Okay. Let's be
Also,
real.
so look at like the MCU. Somebody, or not somebody, but they successfully have taken liberties. So clearly, the MCU is not the 616 we know in the comics,
Fuck no.
which actually bothers me. I wish they would give it a different number.
I wish
They
would,
actually
too.
have never like they hinted at it and they've hinted at it in
Multiverse
movies.
of Madness, I thought.
And then they actually was in the second.
Or no, it
Spider-Man
was
movie.
in
I thought it was a Spider-Man with Jakey G.
It was.
because
Yeah.
I thought
But
when
they've said 616 a couple times
Yo.
in the films, but they have never have they ever officially said the MCU is
I thought
616.
the Illuminati. I thought.
But that was the Multiverse of Madness, which was a different universe. So they have never to
No,
this
but they
date.
gave it a number though.
They did the Multiverse
Yeah,
of
no,
Madness.
it was his chick. Remember
Yeah.
when he's in the cell and they were talking about?
But that wasn't 616. They gave
She
that
said
one.
616.
Well, like they've said it a couple times. What I'm saying is they have
She said
what's his
your
name?
universe-
Josh Whedon. Yeah, you're right.
She
But
did
Josh
say that.
Whedon has said before that they have never officially given it that title. Because honestly, a lot of non-writers have had a problem with 616 from Jump Street.
Well, yeah, because it's not 616.
It's really not. And, I mean,
Because actually, it's the Ultimate Universe.
Yeah.
Because that was when
Originally,
Originally.
that's what. Yeah.
Well, it's
just
one
the
of those
fact
things-
that what's his name? Nick Fury was black. Was in the Ultimate Universe.
That is very true. And like I can handle Marvel taking liberties. I can't handle them doing my precious baby Thor wrong like they did in Love and Thunder.
Yeah, they have really.
I'm sorry.
fucked him up.
That movie was where I went, okay, like
I know we got an argument.
I
about
don't
it.
hate that
I
movie.
know.
I don't hate that movie personally.
here's the thing, I don't necessarily
But you had you also had just finished the source material for it right before you saw
Yeah,
it.
you're just.
When you think about the source material for everything that came, like if you want to start MCU,
Okay, I'm gonna argue that-
Hold up,
hold
we'll get there. I'm 1 point. If we
bitch,
wanna-
I will fuck
Hold
you up.
Phase 1 was as close as they have ever been with what was going on in the comic books. Since then, there have been more and more liberties that they have taken with the MCU, pulling slightly away.
Oh,
there
yeah.
have been callbacks, but each phase is getting closer.
They're
and
doing
closer.
it more and more.
And the more they start killing people off and bringing new characters in, I think we're going to get to a point where they're going to give the MCU its own number where we won't have this
I hope
issue.
so. That's what I'm saying. It's like when Doctor Strange and
Sorry for cutting you up. I'm sorry.
and America Chavez are locked up in the cell before
You're
they
right.
go see the Illuminati.
You're right.
The chick does say that his universe is 616.
And Jake Gyllenhaal said it as well too, even
Yep.
though we found out he was bullshit. It's
that's
been
kind of weird. How would he?
even know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it fucking
That
matters.
doesn't make any fucking
I'm going to
sense.
say it. I don't think it matters what universe it is. If it's 616, it's just a
I
fucking
think it
number.
does. I think it does.
It's a number. It matters how well they can tell that story.
And I think
if it's
they've done a
still
great
entertaining, and I think that's like Chelsea and I were kind of disappointed with Thor: Love and Thunder is the gore was such an epic
Letdown.
evil villain, and they glossed over it. And
they turned him into like fucking sunshine and rainbows and shit.
Yeah, he was
It
a
was
pussy
just-
at the end.
He was, and here's the thing, like you don't get to see Loki bring him back to try to fuck shit up again. Like you just
But
you
I mean,
don't-
if you're gonna, like I said, I 100% understand your anger, but if you're going to get angry at that, you have to think about the fact that his sister is not his sister. That's Loki's daughter. Like there have been so many
Okay.
drastic things that they have
Here's
changed
the
so
thing,
far.
though. I'm gonna argue with you. So
All right.
okay, there's one source material that I'm glad they changed, which was the whole entire Infinity Saga. Okay, let's face it, in the comics, granted, I did
We
not
all know you hate it, Chelsea.
I know. And here's the thing. I get it. I did not read them when they were coming out. I was too young at that point. I understand that. I wasn't a
just not
part
your
of
style.
that waiting for every issue. But let's face it. Thanos trying to collect all the stones to impress Lady Death.
Yeah,
is
that would have been
lame
too dark
as
for.
fuck. No, it's just lame. It's stupid. He's like, oh, I want to impress a woman. Let me collect these stones.
And
Don't
not even
fuck-
a
you've
woman,
never
a big-
been a teenage nerdy boy.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a
I hear
teenage
your
nerdy
point,
girl, but I mean,
but you've never been that insecure nerdy boy that's
Okay,
as
fine.
obsessed. But you're not that your point is not valid.
Okay,
But-
okay. Let's say from the opposite.
As far
view,
as who they're marketing to, especially at that
who they
at
were
that point
marketing to
time,
in the
you know.
'90s, I get it. The nerdy boys, fine. However, that change in the MCU, I was totally down with. I was like, Thanos deciding that the population needs to be cut in half is way, way better of an actual like, this is my mission, this is my goal. That I was totally cool with them changing up that whole thing. And I read the source material before I even watched all of it, okay? So I already knew what happened in the comics versus the show.
But you're also
Same-
proving my point too, because my point was you're a very big Thor fan. You know what I mean? And the fact that you are, and more Loki, the fact that they changed a character that you cared about. Because like I said, that's why I was so upset with the X-Men.
It is. It's so hard too because they make Thor such a stupid frat boy, and he's not like that. Like,
I think a lot of it was they needed to save money, and it was cheap for them to be comedic.
He has been, but let's face it, Thor is not like Chris Hemsworth's character in Ghostbusters, okay? Thor is a lot smarter than people give him credit for.
All right, hold up.
How many fucking Thor comics do you read?
A lot, actually. But here's the one difference I'm going to say. This is from that money aspect. Think about what the first 2 Thor movies did in comparison to what Ragnarok did. They said Thor Dark World and the first Thor were 2 of the lowest rated films in the MCU. Then they added more comedic stuff in Ragnarok, and I think Ragnarok was done well. I do think
that movie's amazing. I
do love Ragnarok.
I do think they overdid it a bit in Thor Love and Thunder because it had worked, but I understand why they did.
Yeah.
You're taking their worst selling films and worst selling character, and now you've put him on the top. And especially with RDJ being gone, you have to put more faith. Chris Evans
you need
is
a
gone
big
with
anchor,
Cap.
a big sail to catch.
To be honest, though, that's where I have in more recent times been starting to pull away from the actual MCU and just reading comics because I'm like, you guys are, for me personally, okay, let's face it, I'm 31. I like adult stuff. I very much enjoy shit like Invincible and The Boys because I get that violence. It's adulty, and granted, I get that the MCU, they obviously cater to little kids, but it's gotten to the point where it is so kiddish now. It's not enjoyable for me anymore.
I will get it to you. Like, and you have
something
there's a 15-year time difference between the two of us. I have waited so long to get what we have now that even when it is watered down, I am so happy to have it because I've waited my entire life for technology. You got to think, I grew up with a bunch of sorry-ass, cheesy-ass made-for-TV films like fucking Michael Hasselhoff.
Can we just be appreciative that our heroes are not all in spandex all the time?
Yes, thank you.
You know?
Thank you.
You know?
True, very true.
We don't need the Frankenbeans.
And growing up, it's like we were watching movies, like you said, X-Men, these standalone movies that... And all the whole time we're thinking.
But for me, I loved X-Men when they came out.
Okay, but
I did too.
But
I loved them.
I thought. I mean, it was.
Hear me out. So coming up, and then you see the potential as a kid or whatever, and you go, man, that'd be cool if they could create a universe that's all tied together, and then so it's like it's like you saying that you didn't make the Incredible Hulk canon in your mind until you watch She-Hulk.
Yep.
But for somebody who watched each of these movies as they came out, it's a little different perspective. You know what I mean?
For sure. And I feel like that's the same with me too, like watching the whole MCU, but also at this point too, I've read like way more comics. I think even up through when the first season of Loki aired, that I very much am one of those people that falls in love with fictional characters, especially when it comes to reading. Reading is definitely one of my biggest mediums that I just connect with. And so when I read about these characters that I love so much, and even with, we'll make the argument with Thor, I have read a ton of Thor from the 60s up through today. I have comic runs from all eras, bronze, silver, gold, whatever age you want. And in those comics, yes, he might have his kind of, I don't know, I call him like dumb blonde moments, but Thor is not a stupid character. He may be more quiet, and I'd say a little bit more introverted. When he's upset, he goes and gets shit-faced and, finds comfort in the arms of other women and stuff, but he's not an idiot. And so for me, that's what's so hard about going from, I can go from the first Thor to Ragnarok and go, okay, like, this little bit of change is fine. I get it. Ragnarok, to me, is amazing. I love that movie. I think it's great. But then, once they went to Love and Thunder, they dumbed him down so much that I'm like, you guys have ruined a character that he was the first run of Marvel comics I ever bought. Ever was Thor. And so I think that's why I take it like a little personal offense
And I get it. That's how I am with
when
X-Men.
When
I
they
totally
dumb
get
him
it.
down so
I totally
much that
get
I'm
it.
like, I'm like, that is not my boy though. Like that is not how Thor really is. Like, you guys haven't seen him smash Loki's head in with a hammer, which is one of the best moments I've ever seen in my life. You know,
But you also got to understand with Disney, you're not going to see certain things.
yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Fuck Disney.
You're not gonna get all that, unfortunately. I mean, unless they do like what, like the DC Black Label comics. You know, you have a rated R stuff that's connected to the MCU, so you could do like Blade and
Punisher.
Deadpool, and you could have those darker movies.
Which brings me to my next question. So we first thought that now we know Daredevil is officially in the MCU. They've watch it. And we know they first said it was going to be a movie, but now they're saying the new Daredevil is going to be a series. So now that you had to change your settings in Disney Plus, so now Luke Cage, all of the Defenders that were on Netflix are now on Disney Plus. What do you guys think is going to happen to Daredevil? Do you think they'll dumb it down? Or do you think they'll keep it rated R?
Well, look at what they did in She-Hulk and how he was, and it wasn't bad. Like, I liked him there, but it wasn't the same as the Netflix series.
No.
I mean, that was
But
I'm hoping.
I don't think
think
they're going to dumb them. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, Bill.
I think they're going to take a little bit of the edge off, but I think if you go, to the root core of the character, and kind of lean into kind of like the Catholic guilt a little bit, I think they could balance it right.
Still keep it dark, but not quite as.
Bloody and gory.
I mean, I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be a real kind of the litmus test of what are we going to expect from Disney and the MCU? Are they going to be able to make those punches? Like I think we've joked with with the Hawkeye and Kate Bishop versus Kingpin would have been a whole lot different if it was Netflix.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, the Kingpin
good
and
point.
Netflix was fucking brutal.
Yeah.
He was still badass in that, but I mean, he slammed a dude's fucking head in the car door.
At the same time,
bunch.
that actor, I can't remember his name.
He's dope.
He is an amazing top tier actor.
Yes.
and he can pull that off. And I think, with him
You're
on board,
embarrassing me.
I honestly think that I think there's hope. The reason we didn't see Daredevil as hardcore in She-Hulk, because She-Hulk isn't hardcore like that.
she's always
that
a weird.
show is
Yeah,
supposed to be.
it's
It's,
always
always
been
been,
a-
a
it's
comedic
been-
relief.
Yeah,
It's been
always been
accurate
fourth
to
wall.
the comic.
Yeah.
it was always a breaking the fourth
That's-
wall
so
and
he was
cheesy,
just guessing.
kitschy.
I guess
That's what's funny about people hating the She-Hulk show.
They don't know
It's
anything
like
about the
it's so accurate
Mm-hmm.
that it's.
I didn't like the comic and I didn't like the show.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
maybe
No, if you
Okay.
didn't, yeah, but if you
That's me.
but if you didn't like the comic, then I like the She-Hulk
I
comics.
loved the comic.
and I think it did
was
well.
I liked the
iffy
show.
on the show.
I liked the show.
I did.
So I posted a video on the Comix Zone about kind of is MCU changing the storylines? Is this deep dive Eric Voss, and he kind of made some interesting points, kind of calling out the same things. He was joking. You should watch the video. He starts off talking to Kevin Feige, the AI robot, and say, "Well, why didn't you make? Can we add the scenes back where Gore actually goes and kills off all the other gods?" Can we
I
stop all-
know.
and it was like all these same things that we're echoing about Disney, and it kind of explodes. But if you look at just the sheer amount of material that's being put out there, I mean, we are a little bit spoiled, and I mean, it's going to be tricky to figure out how we're going to support and get what we want. And I think, still, as long as we're willing to talk about it, I think it's still worth watching.
You know what I think would be great is if the MCU could kind of like when they did the Netflix shows with Punisher and Daredevil. I wish.
We just talked about that.
Well, I was just gonna say, I wish we could have like the adult side of it, and then kind of like
That's
in the
what I was saying,
Yeah.
like the DC Black Label
Dude,
thing, and
DC
then have
Black Label is honestly
and-
better than even just their normal
and
shit
have-
they have
I think
going,
it's
in
gonna
my
have those
opinion.
have those R-rated films, and then you can do the kiddie stuff, and then you got something for
I think
everybody.
I wouldn't mind it as much, whereas for the most part, we've been getting most of the kiddie stuff, and so I'm like, I'm ready. Like I've said, I love Invincible, I love The Boys, but I'm like, can we get a little bit of more adult
Punisher,
content?
we need
And I
some
think,
Punisher,
I
we
think
need
they are
some-
listening a little bit. I mean, compared to Love and Thunder to what came out with Wakanda and
Wakanda, I loved that one better
like
than the
that
first
movie.
one, to be
Wakanda
honest.
they are
Forever was
listening
so
to these
good.
things. I think the criticism that they were getting from the fanboys, they are listening. So I'm cautiously optimistic that they're gonna make the right changes.
So am I, because even Ant-Man was a lot better than what I was expecting. And we even talked about how I researched a lot of it afterwards, because at first I was disappointed with the movie until I did my research those couple of days after, and then I was like, oh, like this is awesome, you know?
So
like I see where they pulled the comics into it.
What really bothers me is all these talks of, and I don't know if it's kind of fear mongering, so I got to take it with a grain of salt, but MCU suing over leaks. So they're going after people that leaked this information.
Oh.
I mean, I understand kind of keeping it to a point, you know, keeping it under wraps to a point. And if you do not disclose your contracts for a reason, you know, suing somebody for breach of contract.
Well,
but I don't know. It's kind of just, you know, the Gestapo of the Mickey Mouse. You know,
you know what? For someone like,
you're gonna wear your virginity ring, right? Yeah.
I know how MC Virus, props to him. MC Virus goes looking for spoilers. He's one of those.
Yeah, he is a fucking weirdo like that.
And don't.
He's not the only one like.
He just called us too.
Oh shit! Yo, props, buddy. He likes spoilers.
That's how my brother is too. He looks up.
You know what I mean?
Like,
so I'm one of those people that fucking go get them. You know what I mean? Like, one of my favorite things is the fact that fucking second Spider-Man, what's his name?
Miles.
Tom Holland. Andrew Garfield.
Thank you, Andrew Garfield. His best acting job was convincing the world he wasn't in the Spider-Man.
Dude.
He had everybody going.
Even when there were scenes all on Twitter,
everybody,
with him.
nobody.
He's
thought,
like, that's not me. That's deepfake.
Yeah, and I believed him. You know,
Yeah,
what I
me
mean?
too. You're like,
So-
is it?
Everybody did. I watched YouTube video. There was one YouTube video I watched. They're called The Corridor Crew. They're awesome. Check them out. They cover CGI, special effects, all that shit. But they even talked about it when that picture of him came out with like all the metal
blue
pole.
screen and shit,
the blue screen, and they covered it, and they're like, you guys are like, this isn't
This is
fake.
legit,
Like
yeah.
we're pretty sure this is legit.
But his acting was so good. I was like,
acting was
He planted the seeds of doubt, and you're like, is he? I mean,
He really did. And so when we finally got to see it come to fruition that they were in it, like I mean, I'll
That's such a
admit,
good
like
movie.
It did make that so much more impactful.
it made that movie
so I
so much better.
understand. Like, cause I think I understand why they do it, but fuck them. If you're one of those people that are out there that are purposely putting spoilers out,
I would
that's
say
fucked up.
if,
No,
if
that's
they're under
bullshit.
if they're under contract, I would say that would I could understand. But if they're just kind of happened upon it,
Or if you're
and
in a
they're being
Facebook
sued,
group and you're like, hey,
I mean,
it's one thing to put it up in a discussion though. Like, this is one of the problems with the age we live in. With you having access to everything, everybody's got a camera. There are people that are actively, just because they're dickheads. So basically,
Yep.
they're trying to be a dick.
Yeah, Alfred. What Alfred said to motherfucking Batman in The Dark Knight. There's some people out there that just want to burn the world.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
watch
So
the
you
world
want to ruin it for everybody
Yeah, there
else
are
just because you're an asshole? There's people like me that have been waiting fucking
is so
decades.
mad right now.
I am, man. You know
He
what I
is
mean?
so mad.
I hate every single one of you motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Because you can only watch something for the first time once, and you are taking that away from people. So fuck each and every one of you. And if I ever see you, motherfucker, it's fist fight.
Woo!
Facts.
we know how to get Sean riled up.
You know what I mean?
Dang.
I'm
and,
over here
and the
sweating. I'm
and
sorry.
the Facebook blocked him already.
You know what though? You know what though? I do have to agree with you though, because that is also one of the reasons why I'm also a fiend about seeing the Marvel movies when they first drop in theaters. So I'm like, I don't want anybody ruining anything for me. I want to experience it the first time, and people are dicks. And
I
like,
don't want to know shit.
well,
And that's why we all go 13 deep and get a whole room fucking opening night.
yes, exactly. Well, and like I was super disappointed because I found out that Daredevil was in She-Hulk before I got the chance to see that episode.
Oh, me too.
And then-
I fucking saw that too.
And I was
Yeah.
so upset about it too. I was like, I'm excited that he's in it, but I'm like, I really wish I could have experienced this on my own.
Yeah,
It's,
and
you
been
know,
surprised. Like, oh,
I have been spoiled more times than I can count with like even.
I spoiled Steins Gate for myself. I fell
Yeah,
asleep.
you did.
I fell asleep. I was on episode 12. I didn't realize where I was at. I fell asleep for 2 minutes, maybe. And because I saw up to where, but I wake
I
up.
did that with Lost.
I
so feel
wake
you.
up and what's her name?
My Yuri.
My Yuri's dead, and he's holding her dead body, and I just didn't.
Miri
see.
died.
I didn't see how.
Dun dun dun.
Oh yeah. But I didn't see how it happened. I just woke up and I'm like half asleep. I'm like, huh, I wonder if that's what they were talking about, and went back to sleep. And then I'm thinking about it the next day.
Dude, when I was watching the whole Infinity Saga and the comic book store here was still around, the only thing that I knew from that whole thing was that Tony Stark died. I knew he sacrificed himself. I didn't know anybody else that disappeared in the snap, that actually was killed. Nothing. And the owner of the store at that time was like, well, yeah, when Natasha dies. And I was like, and he knew I hadn't seen it. He's like, well, the movie's been out for this many years. I'm like, that doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
You don't
Dick
spoil it
move.
for people that still have not seen it to this point, you know?
I know we're getting close to end.
Yeah,
so
we're
we
getting.
are.
I have a
Gotta
question
wrap
I
it
want
up.
to ask each one of you, and I know I've asked it before. I want to know your 3 favorite comic book movies. It could be anything. It doesn't matter. Animated, 3 favorite comic
Chelsea
book
first.
movies.
I don't want to go first. I don't know. Hold on. Like, I'll think
Okay,
about
Bill.
it.
I'll go. The
Go.
the newest Spider-Man was definitely up there. I have to go with the specific kind of scene in, I forget which one, the Daredevil, when it was the Daredevil and Punisher, the whole good versus evil scenes. I think it was almost in the graveyard where they're talking, well, when I take out the bad guys, they don't come back.
Yeah.
You know, and just where the good guys kill the bad guys, are they still good guys? That discussion, that dialogue was beautiful,
During
poetic.
during
It
the
was
Netflix
great.
show.
Yeah, I think it was
Yeah.
the second season of Netflix.
It is the second
second
season.
season.
Yep.
And that first intro with
That was our
Punisher
introduction to Frank. Was in Daredevil, and then you get the.
It
Punisher.
was. And then we get the show. and
That whole shit was so fucking good.
yeah, fucking
And
was.
then you get the Defenders, and I was like, "Fuck this!"
Never
We're fighting
watched it. I didn't
we're
care.
Fighting ninjas again. I
I
mean,
like Defenders.
come the fuck
I
on.
understood what it was, and it was what I expected. So
That
I
show
couldn't
pissed
complain.
me off. Well,
third one. I may have to go with I think it was Civil War. There was really should have been
War.
the Winter Soldier with when they had Bucky kind of becomes Bucky again, and the Captain America was that was
That was
Civil War.
Yeah.
yeah.
I say, and especially kind of get the whole the superheroes
yeah,
kind
when
of
he's when
inner turmoil between the two.
Spider-Man's fighting him, Sam and Bucky. It's like, I don't know if you've never been in a fight before, but there's
not
usually
this
not
much
this much
talking.
talking. He must have never watched any anime. You know what I mean?
Your shield doesn't
Yeah.
obey the laws of physics at all. That lives freely in my mind.
Yeah,
man.
that's
Just all the time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, guys, we got to wrap this up. We're getting
But
near
keep
the end.
going.
This is
Keep going.
So what's your what are your
Oh
three
yeah.
top?
So just real quick, Winter Soldier #1, Ragnarok, and yeah, probably the newest Spider-Man.
All right, for me, I'll let you go last so you can think.
Okay.
For me, it's definitely fucking Captain America, the Winter Soldier. That is number
That shit's
one.
the fucking bee's
Yeah,
knees.
yo, because
Oh, I
even if
forgot
that wasn't
about
a comic book, I think that is one of the best written movies. Fucking
the fight
period.
scenes,
The fight
the
scenes, the
story,
storyline.
everything about it is fire.
It's fucking perfection.
Yeah.
That's number one. To me, the Dark Knight, the one with Heath Ledger and fucking that plays.
Could have been on my list.
That's number two.
You don't like those?
And number three.
Not if you read the comics, yo.
Here we go. Okay.
And
All
number
right.
three for me is going to be the first fucking Superman from 1980,
Back in the
1978.
fizzle.
Because that's what did it for me.
Christopher Reeve.
Yeah, Christopher Reeve, that did it for me. So those are my three.
Okay.
So I would say my three, the first Iron Man. Honestly,
That's a great movie.
I don't care what anybody says. That is like damn near perfection for me
I
for
agree.
an
It-
MCU
it
movie.
is fucking
Honestly,
solid.
movie.
That movie was solid.
it got me so into the MCU. That's when I first started, and also RDJ. Like, anyway,
Sploosh.
yeah, I know. Eggs dropped. Anyway, love
Wrong button.
love Iron Man. I'm also the Daredevil show. Honestly, was a huge
So
hit
good.
for me. Like we've talked about before, I'm very much into the violence, the darkness, and that hit every single aspect for me. Plus, have we seen, Charlie Cox abs? Like, you do laundry on those, like, washboard. You know what I'm saying?
He's on every man in MCU just about.
I know. And we love you,
fucking
Marvel,
Paul Rudd.
for it.
Yeah, Paul
Hey,
Rudd.
you know what, though?
Is he jacked up or what?
Yeah, he is, and he is still the sexiest man alive. Okay, we love Paul Rudd.
He doesn't
but
age though.
And in Ant-Man, there was that scene when he took his shirt off right before old girl point. Yeah.
yeah.
I would have to say third for me,
got his
honestly.
shirt
It would be the
sleeve.
Loki show. I adore it. He's one of my most favorite characters.
Great
I
show.
read the comics that show is, I would say, very loosely based on in certain aspects. It's go read Agents of Asgard if you haven't. It's a great storyline that also ties in with it a little bit, but definitely Loki though.
Hell yeah.
That made it for me. It was, I thought, one of the
Agreed.
best
It was
shows the
great show.
MCU
Solid.
Great
popped
fucking-
out. Yeah.
On
And,
top,
and the surrealness just of it is in the time travel.
I would say I'm definitely a fan of the TV shows, honestly, probably more than the movies, if we're being real.
Wow.
Yeah.
quick question to send it off.
What is
Which character was most consistently good in every movie that they made? Or, you know what I mean? Like, which...
Kind of
So
maintain.
you got Iron Man, you have Thor, you have Captain America, you have... So which set of movies is the most solid?
This is gonna hurt my feelings to fucking say this.
Captain America for
It's
me.
Captain
It's
America.
Captain America. I was going to agree with
Every-
you.
And
I would say that too. Just as he was one that I never thought I would like, and he really did a good job. It was a surprise.
Iron Man's my favorite character. I won't front.
I love Iron Man, and like I was pissed when I had to watch Captain America during my first watch through of the Infinity Saga. I was
that
like,
shit.
I didn't want to watch. I was like, it's boring. It's fucking World War II. Nah, he's
But go
so-
back. They all stand the test.
Yeah,
You know what though? That ended up becoming my fave, and as soon as the movie finished, I special ordered like an awesome
And as
tie
far-
dye
and
Cap
as
shirt
far-
from Etsy. I love Cap.
as far as sticking to the source material,
Yes,
Probably the closest.
the
yes,
first
yes.
Avenger is by far...
The closest.
Yep.
Iron Man's right there too.
So, yeah,
It's,
I agree.
it's on point as far as the Ultimate. Because,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And,
Well, they modernized it.
I'd say as far as Tony Stark goes as a character, they nailed it. Maybe necessarily storyline
Yeah, 'cause it
wasn't
wasn't
original,
Vietnam. It was-
but
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, but they stuck to the, they modernized it, made it a little more, but
yeah, if you can admit that
yeah.
a character that's not your favorite character has been portrayed the best in the films, that's saying something.
I've always
about the
loved
writers
Captain
and the
America.
That is very true.
actors.
Yeah.
I hated Captain America
Well, check
and
it out.
Wolverine.
Well, check
and
it out, because even after Chris Evans, look at the Falcon and the Winter
Oh,
Soldier.
that's
show,
my favorite show.
and it just keeps getting better.
It does. They do great
I
with.
agree.
You cannot miss with Captain America.
can't.
You
You
really
can't.
can,
with,
and they do
even
great.
without Chris Evans.
Yeah, you're right.
What if we
So-
get Chris Evans back as evil?
Oh my fucking god!
As Hydra.
Hey, can we?
Hydra.
we
Ooh,
also
I know. Ooh.
I just really hope they give us the what if the Punisher became Captain America, or if Captain
That's
America
what I'm
wouldn't
looking
give it
forward
up.
to. Is what if, and they need
Same. I
they
need what if
They've got
season two.
Two more
Yep.
seasons. They've confirmed season 2
If they
and
don't
3.
give me what if
They
the
need
Hulk went
to
berserk, I'm gonna
definitely-
riot.
They need to expand that and do
Oh, yeah.
more.
They
think
do.
they
They
will.
need to do a lot of the older ones, I think, too.
Yes.
What if Punisher
Reach
got the
back
Venom
and do
symbiote?
the
That's
old
my
ones.
favorite.
Yes, do some of the older ones for sure. Most
Yes.
def.
Yes. And on that note, guys, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
we got to
sorry
wrap
guys,
it
we talk a lot.
up. This has
great.
been a fucking great show.
This has
and
been
a combative
great.
one.
I know.
Crazy, man.
Dude, I can't help it when Tito's gets involved. Chelsea gets a little
Yeah.
aggressive.
No, this is a good show.
Tito's, we need paid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hit us
Thank
up.
you, Tito's.
Yeah, fucking
TheComixZone.com.
Sponsor us.
With an X.
On that note, go to YouTube. Check out the Comix Zone podcast there. Subscribe. And check out our videos there. We're doing, obviously, video on every main show. And
Yeah,
check out...
Chelsea just doesn't paint the barn for nothing, y'all.
He
Like,
doesn't for dragging these balls. It's scary.
I know, totally terrifying. Like, you scream a little and you're like, ah! You're like, oh, it's
TikTok.
Chelsea.
Yeah.
Facebook,
Yeah.
Instagram.
Also, yes, check out Dragging These Balls. Go to thecomixzone.com and follow us wherever you get your podcasts.
And join us in the Facebook group, too, man. We want y'all in there.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Exactly.
All those links are on theComixZone.com.
Yes. This has been the Comix Zone. Peace out.
Asta.